Greetings and peace. I hope you and yours are doing well today, wherever you might be watching this from. Now, today I'll be doing a book review, and this is a review of Harold Waldwin Percival's Thinking and Destiny. This was gifted to me by a very special brother, and it's a 1,000-page book. If you go from the table of contents to the intro, the afterword, forward, the index, and the messages, like this, this will take you some time to get through it. Now, this when I was given this book, I was told it has very prevalent information, and I'm someone in my life that has the privilege to grow up in the East and the West. So I've experienced religions, cultures, philosophies, peoples. Who I am today is part of that experience. Uh, that makes me who I am, is that experience that educated me by being with all of those people from the East to the West, from the West to the East. That's what makes a whole person. Now, this book talks about like the fall of mankind and how mankind can get back up to that realm of permanence. And in the realm of permanence, you have you basically regenerate your body and you become this perfect, sexless, genderless body. Now, I went through the whole book. I read it. I gave it the courtesy that it deserved because it was gifted to me. So I didn't just want to put it on the shelf and let it collect dust. I gave it the courtesy and I went through it page by page, chapter by chapter. And most of the stuff that Percival teaches in there about the fall of man and going to the realm of permanence and becoming one with the opposite sex and just being good and doing good and all of those things that he describes are all can be found in any spiritual path that you walk in. If you're a Christian, you can follow Gnosticism. You're a Muslim, you can follow Sufism. You're a Jew, you can follow Kabbalah. If you're a Hindu, you can follow the Vedic traditions, Buddhism, and all of that. So he presents like good information in there about how like you need to have good karma and just the desires, like suppress your desires and get them under control because that's the part of regenerating your body. So, there's many things that I didn't agree with him on because I believe that in my experience and in my life, I'm not a perfect individual myself. I'm in my late 20s. I'm still learning. I could be wrong about this, but this is my perception of this book. That Harold Percival, I believe that he's got all this like good stuff that he has in the book, which can be found in all of the other religion and philosophies, but on top of that, it's coated with a bit of deception because he denounces all of the other faiths because for him it's like everybody's worshiping nature gods. So they create these gods with their thoughts, then they feed them, and then these gods are just like technically not there. And then the sun and the moon are created with your thoughts as well. Then there's like an inner earth and like the four spheres of earth, where depending on how you ascend in this life, you go into those, and those who are being like drug addicts or alcoholics in this life, they're being punished for a past life. So there's a lot of divisiveness in his work. Yeah, there is the concept of karma, but anytime you cause disunity or condemnation, where you're saying Muslims and Jews and all these people and like they don't mean anything because they're worshiping nature gods, and at the end of the book he tells you how to get those gods under your control and do as thou wilt philosophy, that leads to chaos because I can't just go out here and do whatever I want. There's a certain law and order that I have to abide by. Yeah, I can think positive thoughts to live a better life, but there's a system of control that if I don't abide by it, there's always consequences that come after you. So he has a chaos theory. It's chaos theory, and it's interesting because he was a student of theosophy or theosophy. I believe I'm saying that correctly, which was founded by Madame Blavatsky. And Madame Blavatsky herself was went to the East and was taught by Jamal el-Afghani, who was a Muslim Freemason, whom she referred to as Serapis Bey, with the Brotherhood of the Luxor, and they were all trying to become ascended masters. And Jamal al-Afghani has also been here to America, where he taught the parents of Noble Drew Ali, of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and they ended up establishing their first Islamic presence. So it's funny that Percival comes from this school of thought, theosophy, where it's by Blavatsky, and she was taught by a Muslim Mason herself, and then he's denouncing Islam in his book, and he's denouncing like all of the other faiths in his book, saying that it's all man-made and you are the creator of your own destiny, do as thou wilt, and all that stuff. So there's a lot of stuff I disagree with him. I mean, to not make it, I mean, 1,000-page book, to make it like simple in order for you to, let's say, ascend to a higher level, just be good to yourself and be good to other people. Don't have any bad intentions. Don't deceive. Don't disunite. Don't see that you're separate from others because of race and religion, or they're worshiping nature gods, or you're superior, because that's pride, and that's your downfall. That's the downfall of man, is the pride. And what is it, to regenerate the physical body and become immortal? Is Percival around today? He's not. I can go outside and ask people, do you know what thinking and destiny is, and do you know Percival? No. So has he stood the test of time? No. What about the people he's saying that are worshiping nature gods and doing all this other stuff? They're still here. Their leaders are still remembered and immortalized by their followers and their teachings. So it's good stuff what he's teaching in there, but it's basically all the systems and traditions and philosophies of the East. It's already in there, whatever he's teaching, like to control your desires, to be a good person, and to always do what's right. So for him to denounce all of those things that have been there for thousands of years, and then write a fancy book of his own and say that, oh, they're wrong and you got to follow it my way, I see like a deception behind that. And that's after I took the time to read the book. That's because I've spent time in the East and the West for me to know that what he's saying is incorrect. And supposedly in his eyes, the Greek gods were real beings that existed, an advanced race of humans. But yeah, everyone else is wrong. So see, you get into that mindset, if you don't believe what I believe, you're going to hell. Just like how you have modern history and modern history books where they don't want to give any credit to the people of the East. Everything was invented by the Greeks, all the philosophies, all the things in the world. And some people might call that whitewashing, but we gotta stay focused, because my job is to unite humanity. For me, it doesn't matter what the color of your skin is. You're my brother, you're my sister, and we're here to create a better world. I'm not here to condemn you, that you're gonna come back as a beast who's gonna reincarnate into the one of the chambers of the inner world. I'm here to tell you that we're all walking each other home. We all have a responsibility to each other. We're all here to love one another, and we're not here to say, okay, oh, these people invented everything and everyone else is wrong. No, that's not correct. You got to look back at history. You got to look back at how things are connected, and you got to see who I am, what I stand for, and what I need to do. Now, one of the chapters he has in there is also about Freemasonry, and he says that you like a Mason has to, I guess, control his, like, the sexual desires of his body. So hence why you wear the apron in your private areas at the root chakra, because that's the root of your temple, and you cannot deplete that energy of your temple. And I made a whole video about this, like about 6-7 months ago, I believe. But the information that he has in there, it's already followed by Hinduism, the Brahmacharya movement, where they tell you that you can only release that energy when you want to reproduce with your wife and to create life. Otherwise, you cannot. No masturbation, no recreational sex, none of that. Same in Islam. That's why we're told to lower our gaze, is to protect ourselves from those desires, and also to only reproduce, like only to, release that energy when you want to make another life and not for any other purpose. And that's why how a lot of priests and imams, like that celibate mindset, where that's how you reach enlightenment, is when you don't release that root foundation of your temple and you just let it illuminate the rest of your body and re-energize the rest of your body. So yeah, that part is good, but that stuff is in other faiths as well. So for him to say all that is correct and then they say the other faiths are wrong that are teaching you the same stuff is, I don't buy into all that, because that's causing pride and divisiveness. So we don't need that. Okay, now the part of the both where you get reincarnated as 6 men and 6 women. That's the 12 reincarnations that you're supposed to come back as. It's more than that. If you look at some of the cultures, those who believe in the cycle of past lives and reincarnation, it's not 12. It's a lot more than that, depending on your karma and depending on if you've learned your lesson as or not. So, for him to say in there that Buddha and Hinduism and Islam and all that stuff is basically all that information is from there. So I don't know how he was able to come up with all of this information or what kind of enlightenment that he had being a student of theosophy, and the founder of theosophy was taught by a Muslim Mason herself. So he's not spreading any unity in here. I've I see that. I mean, he's saying some good stuff, but that stuff can be found in all of the Eastern religions and philosophies. But he's not spreading any unity. So, in order for humanity to, let's say, go back to the realm of permanence, like what he's saying, we all need to come together. We all got to know that we have to love one another. We're walking each other home. Have a clean heart. Don't have bad intent for each other. I don't need to write a 1,000-page book for me to express that to humanity. That please don't let fear divide you. Love one another and know that we're all in this together. And that's that. Just live a good, honest, clean life. Be the best that you can be to yourself, your family, and others, and you will move on to the next level. That's as simple as that. It's not like, oh, if you don't believe what I believe, you don't go to this church, you don't go to this mosque, you don't believe what Percival believes, then you're condemned to something and I don't want nothing to do with you. And there are people that have probably replaced their religions with, this philosophy or what this book is saying. And I tell them, it's your free will. You have to know in your heart what's right and to live your life in accordance to how you see it best, in respect to the laws of the universe, to the laws of the philosophies and the faiths that are out here, and all the golden rules that all of them imply. You can't just go out there and do whatever you want. You can't do that. That's why his name and his book have not withstood the test of time, and nobody knows what it's about, really. So, alright, so the two sexes becoming one, the genderless body that he says that we need to get back to. Because when the thinker and the knower and the doer got separated, they got sent back down to this earth to reincarnate into many lifetimes. So that's what he believes is, because he calls God the supreme intelligence. And he believes that we've been sent here to reincarnate as many times as possible until we get it right and then become into this genderless, sexless body. So, I mean, we have that concept in different faiths as well. Even if you look at the Eastern Orthodox Christian faiths, or if you look at the Islamic faith, where they tell you that a man is not complete unless he marries a woman. So the two become one, and there is no such thing as triune self, because God is one and one only. God is within you. Kingdom of heaven is within you. Book of Luke, Holy Bible, Holy Quran, chapter 50. God is closer to you than your jugular vein. So there is no triune self that you need to become one with. God is already in you. You are already one with God. And the concept of becoming one with the woman, you do that through the holy matrimony of marriage. And the other stuff that he's saying is the depletion of the energy. So he's saying that to rebuild your physical body and to rebuild and become one with God again, just don't waste your semen unless you're doing it to create life. And all of the faiths are already teaching that you should only release that energy when you have to reproduce, or in order for you to complete your faith, you have to become one with your wife and go into a holy matrimony. So the gist of what he's saying is, like, to regenerate your body and to become one with the opposite sex and the triune self and realm of permanence. If you follow your respective religious path, whatever you choose, it's like Krishna says that in the Bhagavad Gita, that whatever path you follow, whether it's A, B, C, or D, or E, or F, you follow it, and you follow it to the best of your ability. Nobody's there to condemn you or hate you. We're all here to love each other. You do what's right for you. If this faith is good for you and helps you become better, you do that. If this is better, you do that. And Krishna says that whatever you follow, it all leads back to me. And even I, as a Muslim, can respect that, because any place where I see the truth, I can respect and acknowledge that. So that doesn't say that, oh, these people are creating gods with their own minds, or they're worshiping nature gods, or they can control these gods by their own self, and then the gods get envious and take revenge for them. So he's diving into a deeper rabbit hole, and going away from making it a simpler explanation for people. So that's the point of my video, is that I'm not biased towards anything. That's why I took the courtesy to respect this book and go through it. But I seen that Percival had a bias towards Eastern philosophies and religions, but anything Western, he was all for it. So he had some kind of agenda that I'm trying to figure out. But at the same time, you got to give everything a chance. You got to read everything, because that's how you learn, right? I wouldn't know about it if I wasn't gifted this book and I didn't take the time to read it. And I've been in different cultures, lived in different countries, interacted with everyone. I always had a clean heart. I always loved and respected everybody. So maybe I could see something in this book that my friend and brother could not see. Maybe there was something in here that my heart was able to pick up on that he was not able to see, because maybe he had a different upbringing than I did, or maybe he had a different heart than I did. But the cycle of 12 and civilizations getting wiped out and all the stuff that he describes is, I would honestly say that just follow what path is good for you. Follow a religious or philosophical path that touches your heart. You do that, you be good at it, you be good to your family, you be good to yourself, you're a good human being. Be the best that you can be, and you will move on to the next level. There's no need to go into all of this nonsense where you're coming back as this, or you're coming back as that, or this is going to happen to you, that's going to happen, or you're worshiping nature gods and you're feeding these gods, and then you can get these gods under your control. So it's like this. Everything is within you, just like how all of the Holy Scriptures teach you. And I would say that man and woman have also need to make peace with each other, because that's the part of us becoming one again. There's an agenda right now to divide man and woman, and we can't let that affect us in any way throughout the world. Man and woman have to become one. We have to respect each other. We have to not deplete our energies in our bodies through let's say like music, drugs, unholy sex, anything like that. That's not designed to benefit you or uplift you in any way. And those teachings have been followed by priests and monks for thousands of years in the East. I mean, if Percival had all the answers in his book, then why do people from the West still go to the East? Many of them, every year, they go to the East to study under the gurus and try to seek enlightenment. So if Percival had all the answers, why do they need to go there? They could just read his book. But see, to make my video like 20 minutes or shorter, I would say that just don't let anybody just shape your mind for you. Anybody can write a book and write anything in there. And you gotta love and respect everyone. But what's funny to me is that for him to say that Islam is a nature god religion, and then he was in Theosophy, whose founder was taught by a Muslim Mason. So that's just kind of like contradictory to me. Like, Are you here to spread enlightenment and bring the human race together? Or you're here to say that you're right and everyone else is wrong? And whatever the gist of what you're saying has probably been regurgitated from all the different faiths and religions from the East that have been teaching this stuff anyway. If you truly follow it with a clean heart and clean mind, doesn't mean that if you follow this, or this means you're worshiping a nature god, or you're condemned to hell, or you're going to reincarnate as a beast in the inner earth. That's not true. You follow what's right for you in respect to yourself, your family, and others. That's it. There's no other simple explanation than that. Make peace with the opposite sex, and then the triune self, that's all within you. God is within you. So it's just be yourself. No need to get too complicated. No need to get too fancy, or I'm enlightened and you're not. I know I'm an intellectual and you're not. I don't know anything. I still don't know anything. I don't claim to know anything. I'm just a immigrant kid in his late 20s, still learning in my life. But when I see a deception, or when I see something that causes divisiveness, or if somebody's misleading others, then it's my job and my right under international laws of free speech and my God-given rights to do that by giving an honest review of this book. So I hope you enjoyed it. And if you're still interested, you can read his book. But my advice is just be yourself. Don't let others shape your opinion about what others are and how they are. Your answers are in your heart. Don't let others tell you how things work. You make the effort to study everyone and everything, and whatever clicks with your heart, because God is within you. Whatever clicks with you, whatever path and whatever mission clicks with you, you follow that to your heart's intent. And when you follow that with your heart's intent, with good intention and good love for self, family, and others, then according to what he's saying, the realm of permanence, you're going there anyway. So it's either you resonate with that energy, or there's like another path that you might get sent back here to do. And those are teachings that have been taught in all of the other faiths. You don't need to read a 1,000-page book for you to realize that. So I read it for you, and I'm telling you, with somebody who spent time in the East and the West. All right, take care, and thank you for watching my video.